Kurt Angle, Triple H, and Stephanie McMahon are out. Then they're followed by Ronda Rousey. She looks really happy to be there, but then they give her a mic, and boy, is she flustered. Now, Anna, I'm going to bring in a little bit of your expertise here. Rousey has done a lot of press. She's done a lot of media, a lot of one-on-one. She's talked after winning fights, not losing fights. She kind of ditches. This is a much different scenario, and a lot of people are like, she's acted. She's done a lot of that stuff. What type of uphill battle is this for a woman who has never done this particular thing before?
See, I'm on the fence with this because the way that this segment went, I was on board with it. It set up the swerve. It set up, this poor girl. She's so excited and happy to be there. And she genuinely did come across as grateful to be there, wanting to be there, actually wanting to do this properly. And then the swerve happened. So given the whole scope of the segment, I didn't have a problem with it. My initial thought was, oh, shit, they didn't prepare this girl. And I'm very interested to see what happens moving forward. I don't have a problem with her character being based basically just on herself because she does that. She steps into a ring. You saw that face at the end of it. That's like 1/10 of her I'm going to kill you face. And when she notches it up to 10, like all bets are off. So I'm happy to see where this goes. And more than that, I'm happy to see Stephanie get her ass handed to her by Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, I mean, she's had issues. I mean, she didn't speak until kind of late in her life. She had issues with that. So, I always wonder if some of that, like that insecurity kind of follows her in. And she's been nervous and she doesn't take criticism well. She doesn't take I wouldn't say adversity well. She doesn't take people rooting against her well. And I think that showed a little bit in this, but ultimately, and it's not good mic work. It's not good mic work, but we'll see how it works out moving forward. Alex, before we get into the meat of this, what did you think about Ronda Rousey's first go-around on the microphone?
Well, in the middle of her kind of stumbling through it and talking like, Kurt Angle, you being Olympian and me Olympian and you better Olympian than me was Olympian. I was like, well, this is going great.
Yeah, it was rough.
But she figured it out. She got it back. But again, this is her being asked to do live theater, not memorize a couple of words from a script and do a movie, but like do a speech. And that's not who she is yet. So it's a weird thing that they insist on doing this with everybody, and including the people who haven't even been at the Performance Center learning to take a promo class. We'll see how this goes. But as she proved later in this segment, she can say a lot more by saying nothing.
That is the benefit of people like non-English speakers. That's a benefit. And with Ronda Rousey, I think that if you have a Kurt Angle saying what she needs to say verbally over the next few weeks, maybe that works out better as long as you don't give him crappy scripted dialogue. But let's talk about Kurt Angle because, man, was he great in this. He flubbed one little time, but he was outstanding. He was like, hey, Ronda, they're trying to manipulate you, right? And my favorite was when he said, ever since WrestleMania 31, when you embarrassed them, I think the term that you all use is, we'll have this bitch under our thumb.
He never said the word.
He didn't say the word. Triple H cut him off, and it was magnificent. And the panic on Triple H's face and Stephanie's face was great. And Triple H is like, I bought it from Triple H because he knows he ate a hip toss or hip throw from her a couple of years ago. And then they get up the ramp. And I thought this was the best because at some point you have to address the losses.
Yep. And
it's something I brought up before. Bruce Pritchard, when he dealt with King Mo in TNA, when King Mo got knocked out, like Spike and Bjorn Rebney and King Mo were like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. And Bruce said that he and the creative team were like, no, we can work with this. This is something we can work with a little bit more. Like, you lost. Somebody can bring that up in a promo, and all of a sudden, there you go. So Kurt Angle says, Stephanie said that you were so washed up that even she could beat you up. perfect. They addressed the losses, and they made a comment that Ronda Rousey has traditionally proven that she can't stomach very well. She can't handle very well. She was at odds with Paige Van Zandt, pretty much a child, over congratulating Holly Holm for beating her. So, I mean, this is within the Ronda Rousey character. It is within the portfolio and the profile of a Ronda Rousey. And it led to her putting Triple H through a table. The crowd, who was a little bit indifferent at the beginning, boy, were they into this. Alex, also, I thought that it was just great. I know that Stephanie McMahon marked up Ronda Rousey a bit with that hellacious slap. And then the crowd started a "you fucked up" chant, which is maybe the most appropriate and the best possible thing that they could have chanted at that moment. Like, I know WWE might edit it out and stuff, but for the moment, ooh, that really pulled in the gravity of the situation. The crowd, as much as they took away from Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy, they sure gave to Stephanie McMahon and Ronda Rousey at the end of this.
Yeah, I'll address that point in a second. The first thing I want to say is that I've been, because for whatever reason, my 1-year-old daughter loves it. I've been watching a lot of Perfect Strangers on Hulu, this amazing 80s sitcom where there's Balki Bartokomous, this Meposian immigrant to the U.S.
Going to call Child Protective Services on you.
It's actually great. It's one of the best comedies I've ever seen because these guys are a great odd couple, and Balki just won't shut up and gets his cousin Larry into all kinds of trouble because he won't shut up, and that's Kurt Angle's gimmick in this segment. Just shut up! Why are you saying this? Like, but don't you understand? You told me last week, cousin Larry, that you hated his guts. What? And this. It was very funny. Also, Ronda Rousey stared Stephanie McMahon out of the ring.
It was great.
It was perfect. She didn't need to lift a finger because once you've body slammed, basically just picked up and urinagied Triple H through a table, what do you need to do to prove that you can take out Stephanie McMahon?
What, a 14-time world champion there?
Yeah. So in this case, everyone who was kind of like, I don't know if I want to like Ronda Rousey being in WWE, by the end of this segment, they were all for it because what do we need to make WWE fun? Evil people in charge and somebody underneath who we can root for effing them up. And that's what made it work for so long. And so when the Attitude Era was magical because you had Vince and waiting for Stone Cold to stunner him. Now you got Steph and her husband, and you got Ronda Rousey who wants to just take them both out. That's it. And
Rousey getting physical and actually landing something on Stephanie is the payoff. It's been the payoff for 3 years.
Yeah.
Because she just grabbed her in a bit of an arm crank at WrestleMania a few years ago. But, you finally armbar her or you slam her, you hip throw her or something like that. That's the payoff. And I wouldn't be surprised to see that match play out where that doesn't happen until the very end.
Yeah.
Stephanie just runs away and tags out and does all this stuff. And then at the very end, Ronda Rousey hits a major hip throw into an arm bar or something like that. And we see that finished off. That's going to be, if the last quarter of this promo is any indication, boy, is that going to be fun.